Good morning to you. Welcome back to the Morning Minute Meditation. Here's a verse for us to consider today. Proverbs 17:6. Children's children, grandbabies, are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. In other words, for an old man, his real joy is his children's children. And as well, the glory of a kid is to have a grandpa, a papaw, a papa that he has confidence in and that's a hero to him. I've had the privilege of rearing my wife Beverly and I, 5 children that love the Lord, serve the Lord, and are productive citizens, doing well for themselves, and 11 grandchildren. One of those 11 is already in heaven. I had the privilege of preaching his memorial service and planting his body on resurrection ground there at the cemetery at the church. I've had that privilege and gone through some valleys and difficulties, but I've seen some great things. Matter of fact, in a couple of weeks, you'll see my grandsons. At least 3 of them will be on the podcast with me, and it's a grand episode, just spending time with the grandchildren. I had the privilege as well of leading 2 of my grandchildren to Christ. I had the privilege of leading most of my children to the Lord, and now 2 of my grandchildren. Life has truly come full circle. But I want you to hear this verse. We know Exodus chapter 34, verse 7, the Bible said that God keeps mercy for thousands, and he forgives iniquity and transgression and sin. He by no means clears the guilty, but it says this, he visits the iniquity of the fathers to the 3rd and 4th generation of those that hate him. What does that mean? Does it mean generational iniquity or generational sin? No, and really what it means is the environment that you rear your children in and what you expose your children to is what they become, both righteous and unrighteous, good and bad. Here's what he said in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 41, of the people that hated God. He said, so these nations feared the Lord, but here's what they did. They served their graven images. They didn't love the Lord. They served graven images. And the Bible said, here's what happened, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so do they to this day. In other words, the family produced in the children what it became by way of the home. Again, in Psalm 103, verse number 17, the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting to who? Upon them that fear him. And then he says this, and righteousness unto children's children. In other words, those that fear the Lord, those that obey God, produce a family that affects spiritually in a positive way the children for eternity. And so it is my job to leave an inheritance for my children's children. Proverbs 13:22. How do I do that? By money? Well, financially is one way, but that's not what he's speaking about specifically. Spiritually is the inheritance that we leave for our children's children to be passed down to their children. Listen to this. This was written by an 8-year-old in a public school classroom about grandparents. Here's what she says. She says the grandmother's a lady who has no children of her own, so she likes other people's boys and girls. Grandmas don't have anything to do except be there for you. If they take us for walks, they slow down past pretty flowers and caterpillars. They never say hurry up. Usually they're fat, but not too fat so that they can't tie their shoes. They wear glasses, and sometimes they can take their teeth out. They can answer questions like why dogs hate cats and why God isn't married. They don't talk like visitors do, which is hard to understand. When they read to us, they don't skip words or mind if it's the same story over and over again. Everybody should try to have a grandma, especially if you don't have television, because grandmas are the only grown-ups who always have time for you. Hey, I'm glad the parenting part is over. I'm glad I've got my children out of the house. But here's the truth. I have a great responsibility now to my grandchildren. And if you're a grandparent, so do you. Are you taking that responsibility seriously? There are eternal ramifications involved. Consider what I say today. Have yourself a great day.